Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Q&A video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the video. Brandon here. So basically, I asked you guys to ask me some questions. So I uploaded like a little mini video yesterday for you guys to send in some questions, because I usually use like Twitter or Instagram to get questions. But I'm like, some people actually don't use those apps. I can't imagine not using them, but some people don't. Believe it or not. So basically I asked people on YouTube to ask me some questions. So to my surprise, I got over 100 questions, and obviously I can't answer them all in one video. So I'm going to stretch this out between multiple videos, where I'm going to get like 10 questions per video. So let's go ahead and get started, because we have a lot of questions to, answer. The first question, Brandon, how old are you? This is a question I've got, pretty much since the existence of the channel. People are curious how old I am. When I was like 16, people thought I was like 20 or whatever, which is actually the age I am now. I'm 20 now, which is, just mind-blowing, because I've been, doing this. I've been standing in front of this camera, well, not this specific camera, but in front of a camera talking about wrestling since I was like 11 years old. And I'm 20 now. I'm actually turning 21 in 2 weeks. August 14th is my birthday, for those who are wondering. But yeah, I'm turning 21 in a few weeks, which is crazy. And I don't have any plans to slow down on YouTube. I just have a lot of ideas for new things on YouTube to kind of change things around and keep things fresh, keep things exciting. So who knows what kind of cool stuff I'm going to come up with. All right, the next question. Brandon, what is your favorite stage design that WWE has ever done? So WWE has done some unique stage designs in the past, to say the least. But, other than like, the obvious answers like the WrestleMania, the Royal Rumbles, or stuff like that, one that I saw live that I thought that was very cool was the Over the Limit, stage. Because the way they had and I missed the old Over the Limit pay-per-view. It was like they had like it's not a rev meter or whatever, or speedometer, whatever you want to call it. It's like a gauge, like in a car or whatever. And that was like the stage design. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And something cool actually stuck around until they were like tearing down the stage. So I saw it like come down in pieces, and it was just like, wow, a lot of work went into that. I see why they don't do it, because it costs a lot of money to do now. But it just added another layer of like awesomeness to going to shows. But that's one I saw live, and it just looked absolutely amazing, even in person. Brandon, will you go to WrestleMania next year? Well, if we're allowed to go to it, I will be going. I don't think it's very hopeful to happen in Los Angeles, California, like it originally scheduled, because that place, there's just too many people on top of each other, and it is not looking good with the current conditions of the world. So if WrestleMania happens, no matter where it is, I'll be there. So who knows? I have a good feeling that it will be happening, because this is, almost a whole year away, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So WrestleMania, yes, I will be there. All right, the next question, Brandon. Be honest. Have you ever wanted to quit YouTube? Okay, well, I will say the second run, no, I have never wanted to quit YouTube. First run, yes. But, you can't really blame me too much for the first run, because I was like 12 years old. I mean, you make videos and you think you're going to put them on YouTube and it's just going to like boom and just like blow up like freaking PewDiePie or something. And that's not the way it works at all. It takes an incredible amount of work just to run a small channel. And I can attest to that, since I haven't had really much time anymore, because, I've moved out of my parents' house and kind of joined like, being an adult, and I don't really like it at all. I don't really have too much time to put into the channel, and look, the channel's kind of suffering, which is something I'm trying to work a little harder at. But basically, quitting YouTube is something that's never crossed my mind. I have had to slow down in the past few years, unfortunately, and that's something I would like to work on. But as for my first run, like when I first started making videos when I was like 11 or 12 years old, I remember I got so discouraged because I'd only get like 100 or 200 views like in a whole week. And it was just like so discouraging. Like, this is a waste of time. So I actually, semi-quit YouTube. I was away for like a year or a year and a half, and then I came back, and then I'm like, okay, I actually got to work at this. I got to treat this as like a job, and I got to go full force. And then I was putting in, an incredible amount of time. I mean, it was my whole days. It could have been, 50, 60 hours a week. It was just like way more than even a full-time job would have been. And that's when I saw some success on YouTube, is when I actually started like working my butt off. And ever since then, I've never had the desire to quit or give up or anything like that ever again. And I'm sorry, that's a very long answer to your question, but yeah, that's the truth. Is the Shop Series coming back? So the Shop Series is a wonderful series between myself and Muscle Man Malcolm for the WWE Shop Championship. If you haven't seen the series, definitely go check it out. There was 2 matches, 2 runs. Actually, a wrestling match with me, a professional wrestling match where I was in a ring wrestling. If you haven't seen that, it was a lot of fun to do. Now, as the Shop Series coming back, it cannot come back right now because this whole, pandemic thing is not letting a lot of things happen. So it will not be coming back during the pandemic. But as for, other past the pandemic and stuff like that, I can't really answer your question because 1, that's just spoil the surprise, and 2, I don't really know. But I don't want to keep dragging out the story. If we can, continue the story and keep it fresh and new and exciting, then yes, it will be coming back. Brandon, what do you think of Big E as a singles competitor? A singles wrestler instead of doing this tag team stuff. Big E just as a singles guy, maybe going for the championship one day. I think that'd be a wonderful idea. Big E definitely deserves it. I mean, if we look back at his singles run before the New Day, I mean, he had potential. The character, was kind of in developmental. They didn't really know where they were going with him, but the Big E Langston stuff, when he was kind of a singles competitor with like Dolph and AJ Lee, I mean, he was a little more believable than he was in New Day. Like, he was a believable guy. It was like, when Big E comes out, you're like, oh god, he's gonna kill someone. And he's kind of lost that, but I believe it's not like lost. I believe he can get that back, and he could definitely do something. He has great potential as a singles competitor, and who knows what the future holds. Brandon, what do you think of Randy Orton as champion in 2020? Well, I think it's definitely possible that could happen, and it's definitely going to be a good run, and probably even a better run than some of these new guys. I mean, to do with this past WrestleMania, one of the giant matches that people were most excited for was, Randy Orton versus Edge, and those are 2 guys from, it sucks to say because I grew up in that era, but I have to say, from a different era. It's not this new generation guys, it's just these, these I don't want to carry it on like they're old or something. They're not old. They're not like watered down or anything like that. I'm just saying that, someone who has been in the business for, decades and just won championships and won championships and won championships, those 2 guys still hold attention more than the newer guys, which is a problem. But as for Randy Orton being champion, I believe, yeah, that's very believable, and it's probably going to come off a lot better than some of these newer guys having a title run. All right, the next question. Brandon, would you ever do action figure videos? You used to do them like ringside collectible unboxings and stuff like that. Okay, well, here's the deal. I never really got too heavy into the action figures. I believe my setup, I don't remember when, 2014, I think. I had like a little bit of figures on the wall behind me. And they're like on Elite, I believe, 80 now. When I was collecting, my collection, for the Elite collection of the figures, I was like on Elite 13, and now they're on 80. I just feel like it's such an old man collecting. Now I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the point is anymore. But I never got really too in depth with it where I did like figure reviews and stuff. I just did kind of an unboxing and kind of put them on my wall, and that was kind of the end of it. But if people want it, if there's a demand for it, I will actually look into doing action figure videos, but let me know if you guys are into that. Brandon, would you ever consider being a professional wrestler? Like, if the opportunity presented itself, would you be a professional wrestler? The answer to your question is probably a yes. I mean, that's something, every wrestling fan has always dreamed of doing. But most don't follow through, or even if they do, they don't get anywhere. If the opportunity presented itself, I was able to make a living doing that and not have to, have focus taken away from everything else. Because, I've done a lot of things, on the channel, and it's all kind of based around different aspects of professional wrestling and being a wrestler. And that's something I've always wanted to do. I wouldn't necessarily want to be one if I had to do the WWE traveling schedule, but if I could just, kind of do a part-time kind of thing, that would be absolutely wonderful, but you're probably not going to get very far just doing it part-time. But, if the opportunity presented itself, I can make a living doing it, then the answer is yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, guys. This will be the final question for this Q&A video, but don't worry, we have like 90 more questions to get through, and there'll be another Q&A video coming up here within the next few weeks. But basically, the final question is, Brandon, what is the trickiest thing about doing YouTube and kind of balancing it with your life outside of YouTube, your personal life and stuff like that? what would you say the trickiest part of that is? So I don't know necessarily what the trickiest part. I guess the trickiest part is what you stated in the question, the balance. Trying to find a balance between doing both. Because right now, I have a lot going on my, I don't know, it feels like a spinning table or something, or I don't even know what to maybe I don't know Vegas terms, but like a roulette wheel or something. But I just have like so much on that I'm trying to like focus on at the same time. And I'll just give you guys a little brief of that. I have a normal... I've never liked being normal. I've always wanted to be, different. But I have like a normal job, and I have a rent that I'm paying, which I absolutely hate renting. I'm crossing my fingers I can get my everything in order to actually buy a house, so I don't have to deal with renting and moving all over the place, because that takes away from YouTube as well. I'm trying to balance like a normal job and paying bills and stuff, kind of like a normal kind of thing there, doing YouTube. I'm also a full-time student. I am studying movies and filmmaking. The proper thing to say, I guess, is I'm studying digital cinematography through Full Sail University, actually getting my bachelor's in digital cinematography or whatever. So that's kind of like a degree to line up work where it kind of crosses between YouTube and like what I like to do. So it's not like I'm doing something I don't really give a crap about and then coming here and doing what I actually care about. So that's something, and then, just trying to balance everything's a hard thing, and I would say my highest weakness is finding time to step here in the studio and doing videos. I think pre-filming might be my friend, but, right now I'm still trying to find that balance, because I have not found it yet. I feel like the part about paying bills is taking up most of my time, when I would prefer if I could kind of switch it over a little bit to doing more videos and doing, college stuff, but at the same time, if I do that and neglect that part, I probably can't pay my bills. So it's just a giant mess of finding the perfect balance where you can do absolutely everything, which is something I'm still figuring out. But I promise, guys, once I do figure that balance out, there'll be a lot more videos and a lot more content and a lot more well put together, quality, good content on the channel. Hopefully pretty soon. So you guys have that. It's gonna do it for this Brandon Hodge Q&A video. Hopefully you guys found it a little bit enjoyable. If you did, make sure to like this video. Leave me a comment down there. I'm always excited to read the comments and reply to you guys. So leave some comments down there for me to read. And I guess that's gonna do it, guys. I'm trying to pre-film today and get a bunch of videos ready to go up to the channel next week. So come back to the channel next week, check out all the amazing videos. But that's gonna do it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Brandon Hodge, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.